Susan had my marked police patrol vehicle towed from my own driveway, claiming it was an unauthorized commercial vehicle. But when my police chief arrived and explained she had just stolen a CI-owned law enforcement vehicle, she learned a hard lesson. Towing a squad car is not an HOA violation. It is felony grand theft auto. My name is James Carter, and I am a patrol officer with the Denver Police Department. I have served for 11 years, working various shifts and assignments across the city. Like many officers, I take my assigned patrol vehicle home at the end of my shift. This department policy allows for faster response times during emergencies and increases the visible police presence in residential areas. What Susan did not know when she ordered my squad car towed was that she had just caused the theft of clearly marked city property. That action carries serious criminal penalties. I live in Pinecrest Manor, a subdivision built in 2010 on the west side of Denver. The neighborhood is a mix of families, retirees, and working professionals. The HOA handles basic maintenance and stays mostly uninvolved in daily life. I have lived here for 6 years. My neighbors know I am a police officer and have never complained about my patrol vehicle being parked in my driveway. The car is a marked Denver police cruiser, white with blue stripes, a light bar on top, the city seal on the doors, and the word police clearly visible on multiple surfaces. There is no mistaking it for anything else. For 6 years, this was never an issue. Then, Susan moved in 4 houses down from me 3 months ago. She had golden blonde hair and immediately began complaining about various aspects of the neighborhood. She complained about too many kids playing outside, dogs barking, and people parking boats or work vehicles on their property. Quickly, her specific target became my patrol car. 2 weeks after she moved in, I found a note on my windshield. It read, "Commercial vehicles are not permitted in driveways per HOA rules. Park this vehicle elsewhere." I ignored it. Police patrol vehicles are not commercial vehicles. They are government emergency vehicles. Even if there were strict restrictions, law enforcement vehicles are typically exempted under both HOA rules and state law. A week later, another note appeared. Final warning. Remove commercial vehicle or it will be towed. I called the HOA property manager, a man named Mark, to clarify the situation. "Mark, I am getting notes about my patrol car. Is there an issue?" I asked. "Officer Carter, there is no issue from the HOA's perspective," Mark replied. "A new resident has been complaining, but we have explained that police vehicles are not subject to commercial vehicle restrictions. You are fine to continue parking as you always have." I thanked him for the clarification. I thought that would resolve it. Susan had been told by the HOA that my vehicle was allowed. I assumed she would accept that fact and move on. I was very wrong. I was working a night shift that ran from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. I came home Thursday morning, exhausted, and parked my patrol car in my driveway as always. I went inside, took a shower, and went straight to sleep. I woke up around 3 in the afternoon and looked out my window. My patrol car was gone. I immediately went outside, thinking perhaps the department had recalled it for maintenance or reassignment. There was no note, no notification, nothing indicating the department had taken the vehicle. I immediately called my supervisor. "Sarge, did the department pick up my unit?" "It is not in my driveway." "No, Carter, your unit should be with you." "What happened?" Sergeant Harris replied. "It is gone. I parked it this morning after my shift, and now it is not here," I told him. "That is a problem. Let me make some calls." "Stand by," Sergeant Harris said. 5 minutes later, he called back. "Carter, your unit was reported towed by Mile High Towing at 11:30 this morning. They have it at their impound lot on Colfax Avenue." "Who authorized the tow?" I asked. "According to their records, an HOA representative requested it for a violation of parking rules," he said. I felt my blood pressure rising. My HOA was told by their management company that my vehicle is allowed, I explained. Someone towed a marked police car without authorization. Get down to the impound lot and confirm the vehicle is secure. I am notifying the chief. This is theft of city property, Sergeant Harris ordered. I immediately drove to the impound lot in my personal vehicle. The manager, a heavy-set man in his 50s, named Bob, met me at the gate. "Can I help you?" he asked. "I am Officer James Carter, Denver PD. You have my patrol vehicle here. It was towed from my residence without authorization," I stated. Bob replied, "We got a call from an HOA president requesting the removal of a commercial vehicle. We executed the tow per the request." "Did you verify that the HOA had the authority to tow a police vehicle?" I asked. "We do not typically verify HOA authority. If an HOA calls and requests a tow, we execute it," Bob said defensively. "That vehicle is city property. It is clearly marked as a police car, and you towed it without confirming who had authority," I fired back. Bob looked visibly uncomfortable. "We can release it to you once you pay the towing and storage fees," he offered. "I am not paying fees for an unauthorized tow of city property. You will release that vehicle immediately, or you will be charged with theft," I warned him. "I need to call my owner," Bob stammered. "Call whoever you need to call, but that vehicle is leaving this lot right now without any payment," I insisted. He made a quick phone call. After explaining the situation, Bob was apparently told to release the vehicle immediately. He handed me the keys and had a worker drive the patrol car to the front gate. I inspected the vehicle carefully. There were scratches on the front bumper from the tow equipment, along with minor damage to the undercarriage, consistent with improper towing procedures. I documented everything with photos, then drove the vehicle back to my house. I parked it in my driveway and called my sergeant to report that the unit was recovered, noting the minor damage. "Carter, the chief wants to see you in his office tomorrow morning at 9. Bring all documentation," Sergeant Harris instructed. The next morning, I met with Police Chief Patterson and Captain Evans. I provided a detailed account of the unauthorized tow, the notes Susan had left, and the HOA management company's confirmation that police vehicles were permitted. Chief Patterson listened carefully, his expression growing increasingly angry. Someone towed a marked police vehicle from an officer's private residence without authorization. "That is theft of city property," the chief stated. "Yes, sir. The towing company claims they were called by an HOA president," I replied. "Who is this HOA president?" he asked. "Susan Miller. She lives at 1847 Pinecrest Drive." Chief Patterson looked at Captain Evans. "Captain, I want a full investigation. This woman caused the theft of a police vehicle. I want her charged appropriately." "Yes, sir," Captain Evans replied. He immediately assigned Detective Reed to investigate the incident. Detective Reed began by reviewing the towing company's official records. The record showed Susan had called, claiming to be the HOA president, and stated that a commercial vehicle was parked illegally. The towing company had not verified her authority. They had simply executed the tow based on her representation without confirming what type of vehicle they were taking. Detective Reed also obtained a statement from Mark at the HOA management company. Mark confirmed that Susan had been explicitly told police vehicles were exempt from parking restrictions, and that she had absolutely no authority to order the vehicle towed. 3 days later, Detective Reed and another officer knocked on Susan's door. I was not present, as I was working my regular shift, but I received a full report afterward. Susan answered the door, and the detective identified himself. "Ms. Miller, I am Detective Reed with the Denver PD. I need to speak with you about a vehicle tow that occurred on Thursday." "What about it?" Susan asked dismissively. "You ordered the tow of a police patrol vehicle from Officer Carter's residence. Is that correct?" the detective asked. "I ordered the tow of a commercial vehicle that was violating HOA rules," she replied defensively. "Were you aware that the vehicle was a marked police car?" He pressed. "It was parked in a residential driveway. Commercial vehicles are not allowed," she insisted. "Police vehicles are not commercial vehicles, Ms. Miller. They are government emergency vehicles." Detective Reed corrected her. "They are specifically exempted from such restrictions. The HOA rules say commercial vehicles, Susan argued. You were informed by your HOA management company that police vehicles were permitted. You were told you had no authority to have the vehicle towed, yet you ordered the tow anyway, the detective stated. I am the HOA president. I have the authority to enforce rules, she snapped back. No, you do not. You caused a city-owned police vehicle to be removed without authorization. That constitutes theft under Colorado law. Susan's face went pale. Theft. I just had it towed. She panicked. You caused city property to be taken and held at an impound lot. The vehicle also sustained damage during the unauthorized tow, Detective Reed explained. Under state law, theft of property valued over $2,000 is grand larceny. A fully equipped police patrol vehicle is worth approximately $40,000. I did not steal anything. I called a towing company, she pleaded. You caused the theft of city property, knowing you had no authority to do so. That makes you criminally liable, he finalized. Susan was arrested and charged with grand larceny of city property. Because the value was so high and the property was a government vehicle, the charge was a felony carrying severe prison time. Her attorney tried to argue she genuinely believed she had HOA authority. However, the evidence clearly showed she had been explicitly warned by management that she had no such power. The prosecutor was aggressive. He argued Ms. Miller knowingly ordered the theft of a city police vehicle after being told she had no authority. She caused damage to that vehicle and interfered with an officer's duties. This was intentional, not a mistake. Facing overwhelming evidence, Susan eventually decided to take a plea deal rather than risk trial. She pled guilty to a reduced charge of unauthorized use of property. She was sentenced to 12 months in jail with 6 months suspended, plus 2 years of supervised probation. Susan was also ordered to pay restitution of $2,500 for the vehicle damage and towing costs. Additionally, she had to pay a $5,000 fine and perform 200 hours of community service. The HOA board removed her as president immediately following her arrest. They issued a formal apology to me and to the Denver Police Department, clarifying that Susan had gone completely rogue and acted against explicit instructions. A retired firefighter named Arthur was elected as the new board president. He came by my house personally to apologize. Officer Carter, I am deeply sorry for what happened, he said. Susan was completely out of line. The board fully supports law enforcement officers parking their vehicles at their residences. I told him I greatly appreciated the support. Susan served 4 months of her sentence in county jail before being released on probation. She put her house on the market immediately and moved out of Denver entirely. I heard she relocated to Arizona. The incident became well known within the Denver Police Department. Several officers mentioned that they had heard about it and expressed their support. Chief Patterson even used it as an example during a community meeting. He spoke about respecting law enforcement and understanding that patrol vehicles parked in neighborhoods are there to enhance overall public safety. The towing company was also investigated. While they were not charged criminally, the city removed mile-high towing from the approved rotation for 6 months as a heavy penalty for failing to verify authority. I still live in Pinecrest Manor and still park my patrol car in my driveway every single day. The new neighbors who bought Susan's house introduced themselves shortly after moving in. They are the Hughes family. The husband is a retired Navy veteran who told me he truly appreciates having a police officer living right down the street. Several neighbors have thanked me for my service. They often mention that they feel much safer knowing there is a marked police car visible in the neighborhood on a regular basis. My patrol car still has minor scars from the unauthorized tows, mall scratches, and undercarriage damage. But it serves as a great reminder of what happens when people try to illegally control their environment. It blinds them to obvious reality, like the fact that towing a squad car is not an HOA enforcement action. It is a very serious crime. If you are a law enforcement officer who has faced HOA harassment for parking your patrol vehicle at home, Or, if you have witnessed someone's overreach result in criminal charges, share your story in the comments. Send this to any officers who face pushback for take-home vehicles, and remind them that most communities support a law enforcement presence. And subscribe for more stories about people who learn that some property cannot be towed without consequences. Sometimes, the vehicle you order towed turns out to be government property protected by law. And your phone call becomes evidence of a felony.